Mate selection. How it all started. We now know that humans, or Homo sapiens, have existed for about 200,000 years. However, our ancestors date back almost 2.5 million years ago. Obviously, their ways of reproducing worked, otherwise we wouldn't be here today. Throughout history, the basis of mating never really changed. We reproduced to keep our species from extinction, but other reasons arose as our cultures developed. For example, farm families would have numerous children to help with all the chores, and royal families would do what they could to have boys to keep the bloodline going, etc. So what about now? Whether we know it or not, our ancestors set a standard for how we choose our mates. This evolutionary phenomenon is the basis for mate selection today. Human monogamy. Marriage has become a cultural standard across the world. However, monogamy as a mating system is rare in other species. It is believed that infant dependency in our ancestors is what caused our way of mating to occur. So in other words, we mate for life because our children are too demanding and need both of our care. The choices. Who we choose has been found to be based on the idea that we want the best mate in order to create an offspring who has the best chances of surviving and continuing to pass those genes along. The parental investment theory. This is defined as how much each parent will have to invest in the offspring, whether it be physically, financially, etc. Females tend to have more investment when it comes to having a baby. Therefore, they are careful who they choose in hopes their father will invest just as much as she will. Also, since she invests so much, she wants to choose a father with the best genes so the offspring will survive and the investment will have been worth it. Most attraction starts with physical attractiveness. However, there is more to this attractiveness. We are actually looking for signs in the way the person looks that indicate high reproductive value. That is why the idea of beauty is subjective. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. So what are these traits? We all have a fantasy of the perfect partner we would love to have. There are certain traits we want them to have, whether they be physical or emotional. But there is evidence that we have evolved to think this way. This is because there are traits that we want in a partner because they indicate high reproductive value. So you think you have free choice in who you choose as a mate, right? Think again. Besides our society influencing your choice, evolution has also played a huge role. Random mating does not occur, and there are societal norms or rules that we follow when choosing a mate. In short, society and evolution have worked together to come up with these traits that we all must look for. There are differences when it comes to what males and females prefer. However, there are some that both desire. Some of the most desirable are sincerity, faithfulness, tenderness, passion, reliability, maturity, and intelligence. Moderately desirable traits are courage, elegance, attractiveness, thinness, athleticism, strength, thriftiness, and dominance. When it comes to who you marry, you are most likely to marry someone who has actually similar traits as you, including the same weight, height, personality traits, and similar intelligence. What do men look for? They tend to look at a woman's attractiveness and youth, which indicates good fertility and can handle the stress of pregnancy and motherhood. Women, on the other hand, tend to look for men of higher status and good income so that they can support both her and the child in the long run. There are also undesirable traits that we tend to stay away from because they indicate bad reproductive value. These include illness, conceitedness, selfishness, insecurity, aggressiveness, fearfulness, and introversion. Jealousy. Why do men get jealous? If a male loses a mate, their opportunity to reproduce is lost. Men want to pass their genes on to the next generation, and if there is the possibility that the mate is being unfaithful, the male is afraid the offspring is not carrying their genes. Women get jealous for a different reason than men. They're afraid that they will lose the resources and support that the male provides when it comes to having a child. She is also afraid that he will develop a deep emotional attraction to the other mate too. In conclusion, when it comes to mating, we can thank our ancestors. How they choose their mates still affects us today, and we are choosing the best mate possible in order to create a perfect little offspring. Society also plays a huge role in who we choose, so between both factors, we actually do not have free choice in who we mate with. All of this is important in keeping our species from going extinct. And these are the resources.